Welcome to Buffy Virgin, a spoiler-free Buffy the Vampire Slayer podcast. We're going to be objecting to this union because it's Season 6, Episode 16, Hell's Bells. I'm your host, cartoonist Dennis St. John, and this is the rest of the crew. Why don't you guys introduce yourself with the gift that you're bringing to the wedding?
Hi, my name is John, and, I am, knowing myself, I am probably bringing the cheapest thing on the registry.
It's nice that you use the registry, John.
Okay. My name is Travis, and what I would do is bring a sack, like a burlap sack, that will come back later, full of coins, right? Because I know that Anya would just enjoy holding a sack full of money. And because most weddings, that you bring money anyways, right?
Yeah,
like
my name's Michael. I'm the virgin. I've only seen up to Season 6, Episode 16, Hell's Bells, and I would bring cash. So if you're family, there's slightly more cash, but if you're not family, it's like at least $200 cash in an envelope. I feel uncomfortable spending more money than that unless you're family, in which case you're allowed to do something really crazy and make a gesture that you shouldn't have.
All right. I'm learning a lot of wedding etiquette from you guys. And it's only going to get better. But first, we're going to go back and do reactions.
Audience reactions.
To Tabula Rasa. I'm going to fuck this up again, but Iwana Klitsch says, I love when American people try to read my surname. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. Please tell me how to pronounce it.
Give us a country of origin. Give us something. Give us a phonetic pronunciation.
John, Mike, why don't you read the next one?
Agar Queen says, still the same intro? Ha ha ah. Yeah, maybe we should change the intro.
Yeah.
Maybe the intro's already changed by the time this podcast goes out.
And I think
that's our intro. I see.
I think it should be pronounced Agar. Agar Queen, because Agar is a scientific term.
I would have pronounced it Hagar also, like Hagar the Horrible.
Andy Gerber says, I always assumed that since Giles called magic bullshit 2 minutes prior, that his "how progressive of me" statement was just about him owning a magic shop, not about him owning it with a woman. I disagree on this read of the joke, but, I suppose you can read the text any way you want.
Yeah. Somebody else agreed with Andy. And I think that's interesting because that's definitely not how I read it. There are people who will never admit there's any faults in Giles. And as we've learned as we go on in the series, we are not those people.
At Dingo Action says, yay, Maya. Which we all say yay, Maya.
Yes, we could not agree more. Let's do reactions for Season 6, Episode 15, As You Were.
G. Thatcher, Grant Thatcher says, As You Were is writer fan fiction. They really loved the Riley Finn character, even if the audience despised him. Oh boy. Is that
they
fan
do.
fiction.
Yeah, they totally do.
I like the idea of writer fan fiction, which is great, because that's just fiction. I mean, I know what Thatcher means, but that's an excellent. I've never heard anyone refer to something as writer fan fiction. That's fantastic.
I mean, they moved the character along so much. It's in the world of fan fiction, and he has no time to explain. I mean, it's great.
So Silver One says, so Spike never had layers? Dear God, were we even watching the same show? William was educated, and when Spike turned up in Season 4, he immediately used the college computer to track Buffy down, so he's not that dim.
I feel like, I re-listened to this. I listened to this episode, and we talk a lot about Spike and all the variations of Spike. We also say Spike doesn't have layers, but we also say complicated.
A lot of layers.
Spike.
Yeah.
But he is a dummy. So there.
Spike, I mean, I suppose like any fictional character is whatever the story needs him to be at the time. He's despicable and evil, or he's cute and cuddly, depending on the needs of the story in the moment.
Rich at Dingo Action says, did you ever figure out what made Travis sound like Jigsaw? And no, we did not. Sadly enough, no, we did not.
It hasn't happened since.
No. It was just glitch in the Matrix, right?
And Travis, why don't you also read these next ones?
Okay, yeah. Aaron Broderick says, just now getting to listen to As You Were, and I'm so impressed with the correct pronunciation of my last name. Clap emoji. Well, hope I didn't screw that up there. Travis's random voice alteration. All I could hear in my head was Vincent D'Onofrio saying, I need sugar and water. Yeah, I'm really glad that we have not clipped that time when I was talking about liver. Although that's super weird, scary voice talking about liver. Feel free to clip that.
And Chelsea Rose Howard, I think, is a new listener, and said, I like your podcast a lot. It's interesting seeing Buffy being discussed from a male's perspective. And then added me individually and said, I love the chemistry you and your friends have on the Buffy Virgin podcast. You can tell that you three are best friends. And that's super.
With three. There's
and that's
four of
super
us.
awesome. And I feel so awkward for John.
Oh, you must have been missing whatever friend was missing that day. It's like, no. Thank you, Chelsea. You get this podcast.
Yeah,
you
thank
get
you.
exactly what this podcast is about.
Not about Buffy at all.
It's 50 to 50% about Buffy.
Yeah.
So. All right, let's find out what Hell's Bells is about and listen to the summary.
The summary.
We are gathered here today to celebrate the union of one vengeance demon and one horny human male. Does anyone in the crowd who's not wearing a cape have an objection? Before the ghost of Xander's future arrives, the biggest issue we're dealing with is Xander's dad, who's drunk and holding court, and thankfully, Buffy takes him aside. So, another old man, claiming to be Xander from the future, can show up a crystal ball. Xander can't help himself. He glimpses inside, sees his horrible future life with Anya and her kids, that possibly ends with him murdering Anya. And sure, there's some confusing details. Xander has brown eyes, future Xander has blue eyes, but it's enough to get Xan the man thinking, and so he walks away. Buffy and Dawn stall for time. Anya freaks out, and a saloon-sized brawl between the bride and the groom sides of the wedding takes place. And Xander Harris of the future, well, he's just a demon that Anya cursed, who got his revenge by showing Xander false images of his future. The real winner here is Hoffren, who offers Anya her old job back as a vengeance demon.
All right. Let's go into great lines.
Great lines.
Well, this line got me, guys. Anya in her wedding dress. I get to marry my best friend. I mean, that's it. That's so wonderful.
Except she doesn't.
Hey, you took it away already. Hey.
Sorry. I enjoyed Buffy saying to Xander, you're one of the decent ones, Xander. Which, depending on how you look at it, it shows how much Xander has grown, or just shows how much the show is willing to ignore how much Xander has not grown.
I mean,
Also, that's such a great setup for just what happens immediately afterwards, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Xander immediately comes on to Buffy. It's so good.
I really feel like we learned this episode, though, just how good Xander is compared to his upbringing.
Yeah, that's true. I liked when Willow was talking with Buffy in the beginning. They're wearing these, what I thought were very fetching green bridesmaids dresses. And she goes, well, maybe if I ask Anya, I could still go with the traditional blood larva and burlap instead of her dress, which dress is fine.
I like the end sum up by Buffy. They were supposed to be my light at the end of the tunnel. Guess they were a train. That's taking the metaphor. It's caking it right there. All right, the kill count.
The kill count.
So we have 1 fake future murder, 1 murder of a demon / former human philanderer, 2 broken hearts, 1 coffee machine is called out, and 1 huge crazy brawl. So that's what we got. Let's move on to weird noticings and trivia.
Weird noticings.
Can we just call those saloon brawls when they're like just full on? Everyone fights everybody.
Everybody pick a partner and punch.
Dude. Everybody thinks the monsters are circus folk. I don't know how this lie came up and who is perpetuating it, but it bothers me, first of all, that they have to lie that demons exist, of course, because normie parents won't accept it. But then also, like, just how triggery that's got to be for the demons who have to, like, grudgingly accept this thing. Like, this is just, it's a bad lie to have to sustain for an entire wedding. And I think it contributes to the just complete chaos, the saloon brawl that takes place. This lie, when it comes up, I'm like, oh man, this is the story of the wedding. It's a secret demon wedding trying to hide the weird demon people. Ugh.
I like that the demons are patient enough, though, to even attempt it. They're like, all right, I'll play around with being circus folk for 2 days.
Yeah, they have to be so tolerant. Like, everyone has to have Clem level patience to pull this off. And you know what?
Patience.
They don't. They don't at all.
I have a zoom in and enhance to talk about. So if you look at the bottom of the doc, that is a composite image that I photoshopped together from 3 different shots. So you can see all of Xander's whiteboard, or Xania and Anya's whiteboard, I should say. It's not the clearest picture, so you can't make out all the writing, but there's some interesting things on there. Somebody wrote Matt was here. So they have a friend named Matt.
I bet Matt wrote that.
Yeah, and somebody wrote, "Don't forget to surf" with 3 exclamation points, which I think is interesting because we have noticed that Xander owns a surfboard. And when we first see Xander at the beginning, he is skateboarding. So do you think it's possible that Xander has a surfing hobby that is just completely off screen?
Anything's possible. We know he bowls. We've never seen that.
Yep. There's a note to call Buffy with an exclamation point and a little star burst coming out of it. It says Eddie called. There's a note to speak to YOTF about something that he once built. That's pretty exciting. Somebody wrote the Dead Kennedys logo.
I think it says speaker, about speaker he once built.
Yeah, maybe. I was thinking
Maybe.
that. Do you think, somebody wants Xander, because he's a carpenter, to build a speaker cabinet? All kinds of really exciting extra stories that you can just make up
Say
about.
UFO something?
There's all kinds of things I can't make out on there. Yeah, there's like a drawing of a spider.
Yeah, that one's... What about, it says Man United, which is a football team.
Oh, yeah. I guess that
maybe,
is what that is. Maybe. Could be.
I mean, the weirdest is Xander's name misspelled in the middle of the board.
Yeah, it says, "Oh God, Xander," with a Z instead of an X. So somebody who doesn't know Xander that well wrote that on his board.
Yeah. I just was in a workshop where my name was misspelled the entire week. Sometimes you got to roll with it when you got a weird spelled name. The roast from hell.
The only thing I would also add to this is that in the same scene, you can see Xander's refrigerator and all the things on his refrigerator. And there's some really nice pictures of just the gang from different stages of their youth. But then also Xander has cut out a picture of a Game Boy from a catalog and stuck that to his refrigerator as well.
Yeah. Yeah, boy.
So there you go. Zoom in and enhance.
Thank you. We started off early with the Zoom and Enhance this week.
All right, time for some complaints about some of these characters. Guys, this is triggery, and please, let's never have this character again. The character that is fat, so she can't afford to be picky and would be into dating a circus person.
I think she said she can't afford to be picky because she has a kid, right?
She does say that, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not what I heard visually. Anyway, then it's just a slight, just so you don't get completely grossed out and puke, a variation on that joke. Anyway,
and she's wearing Xander's cufflinks, which is disgusting.
As an earring. I mean, this lady does not have a lot going on.
Those are pretty big gauges that she must have in her ears then.
That's what I said, yeah.
And then Uncle Rory is pretty rad. He's like a fun, charming character. I want Rory to be Xander's real dad. And clearly, I think the intent is that Rory is like kind of more of a father figure to Xander than Tony, whatever,
Oh, that's
so
interesting. That's why he always brings him up.
Yeah. I mean, I get why he brings him up, because let's go through what we hear Rory say during this episode. All right, so this is claims and stories. He invented Velcro. He's dating one of the caterers. He's a professional taxidermist. He has some sort of proposition for the photographer. Some money-making scheme, I imagine. He once pranked one of Carol's weddings and it involved an ape suit. So, like, I see why Xander brings up his uncle so often. Because, like, there's got to be just a lot of Uncle Rory stories that connect with what's going on. Because he's a wacky guy. He's got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Doesn't make him not a nightmare of a human being. It just makes him, like, easy to bring up.
I like the guy who's you're at someone else's house and you can't get the coffee maker to work. So you immediately try to take it apart and fix it right then and there.
John, that's you.
I know. That's true. That is me a bit.
Oh shit! He's removing his hand from the machine where he's getting electrocuted. Like, also Xander sees it a mile away that this is what's about to happen. Like, I know what else sees that's even a remote possibility that Rory's going to get electrocuted.
It's also like now we just don't have a coffee maker. Like.
Also,
Right.
all those people are local except for the demons, but all these humans are staying at Xander's apartment. Like, Uncle Rory is staying there, Aunt Carol and the kid are there eating breakfast. And I don't know why. I know where the demons are there, but it's like these other people live in town.
What can we? While we're talking about Rory, one more thing. I think like he's like a Rodney Dangerfield light, right? Like just the acting style. Like I was totally getting triggered by what I imagine. Rodney Dangerfield in one of those like, was it Back to School or
Yeah.
what's his movie he's in?
Yeah,
Anyway.
Back to School.
Yeah, so like Rodney Dangerfield in one of his few starring comedy roles, just like the delivery style, everything, but just like a younger, slightly more affable, but like just that odd confidence and the weirdo sense of humor.
Yeah, you gotta have so much odd confidence to just be like, see a caterer and be like, "You're my date now. Let me introduce you to the fam."
All right, so this is just me feeling this, but those green bridesmaid dresses made me think that they were going to have a leprechaun wedding, and like they were very triggery, and I loved this is now feeling out of place, but the Willow and Buffy comments about the dresses, like those were so funny. I mean, it's just such an absurd color choice, but like you can't upstage the bride, okay? That's the most important thing. So all that matters, just can't look as good as Anya. And, and Willow and Buffy are good looking, so you got to really take them down, okay? So whether that means they wear a blanket, I don't know.
Burlap sack.
Yeah.
It is nice of DeHoffman to show up. You don't necessarily expect him to. I notice he has 0 scenes this episode with Willow. Kind of interesting.
I love that tentacle work from the gift. Like, it's not CG, right, guys?
No, I think it's just a little puppet.
Yeah, it's
finger
so
thing.
amazing. Like, oh my God, CG does not age, but that aged perfectly. It was great, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. It's charming.
so charming.
A little bit of trivia. So Spike's date that he picked up with the local Hot Topic, who almost doesn't have any lines, which is a bit rude. She has no name. No one ever says her name. She's just Spike's date, which is really horrible all through the whole episode. Everyone's like, it's Spike's date. And Spike's is like, this is my date. But in the credits, she's credited as Tarantula.
Oh. Tarantula. Yeah, Spike knows how to pick them.
Tara Angela.
So just never stare at a glowing crystal. That's just Sunnydale common sense.
Come on, you couldn't resist. Hey, I need to show you something. Come here. Glowing crystal. There's no way. I got important news for you, Dennis.
I don't know. If I grew up in Sunnydale, I think I'd be better at this than I am in real life. I'd be like a crystal that contains somebody's soul or some crazy shit.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Buffy gets really excited when she finds the Dagon Sphere.
People love glowing shit on this. Very rarely does it end well.
True.
But let's talk about Xander's. Speaking of not ending well, let's talk about Xander's vision for a minute.
Yes, let's.
I mean, it's the turning point of the episode. It's a big thing. I think we both just wrote down kind of funny observations from it instead of the darker takeaway.
I mean, yeah. So one thing I noticed is that as they travel into the future, like their furniture taste remains solidly sort of mid-century, which is really interesting. Like they always have this cool vintage furniture.
If anything, it goes back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's meant to emphasize the honeymooners vibe of their marriage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's also
but-
kind of a clue that these are constructed images.
Right.
This isn't like really taking place in whatever future year.
Makes sense.
Right, so it's 3 scenes, right? The first scene, Xander's watching sports, and I guess has been his back destroyed in some Buffy-related incident, which feels like actually inevitable that Xander will get. I mean, you were only young for so long, right?
We thought getting a scar was bad, but when you get an injured back, that's much worse.
It does feel inevitable that the Scooby Gang's going to go till it can't go no more, and then they have to recruit from a high school again or something. But
No.
But yeah, Xander's in trouble, and then like, of course, when the scene ends, she's like, "I'm gonna do this makeover thing to make us some money because," and then Xander's like, "I hope you crash and die." Like, all right, things are off a bad track, and then it's like 2 more scenes of the future.
Yeah. So apparently Xander's kids have been fighting for their entire lives. Like,
Right.
and it's the son attacking the daughter constantly for like 15 years. It's awful. It's so mean to just be like that's all we see is like, haha, you're a demon, because his daughter Sarah is clearly Clem's child. Those are Clem ears if ever I've seen them.
I mean, Anya could do a lot worse.
Yeah, Clem's a great guy. I mean, I really wanted to rewrite the scene at the Italian restaurant. Sarah's like, I don't eat meat, right? Like she's upset that there's nothing vegetarian. I wanted to rewrite it of like, I don't even meat, not even kittens anymore.
And then the last scene ends with Xander apparently about to murder Anya. So it ends with her death. He's just going to save her life, guys, by not getting involved.
I feel like that's the insane thing that's not even acknowledged in the rest of the episode. Like, future Xander is just like, I showed him terrible visions. Like, I showed him you being awful. And like, Xander is later like, I can't be like my parents. But he's not like, I murdered you in the dream and I thought it was real. Like,
Do you think he murders her? Because he like throws a frying pan in her direction and then it cuts. Right? So we don't know if it lands, if she gets out of the way. Like, I don't think throwing a frying pan at somebody is always going to be enough to murder them.
I didn't think there was a throw. I thought it was a hit.
Yeah, it looked like his.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I think that's enough to murder an old lady.
I mean,
Yeah.
He's a strong boy.
I mean, I'm not defending Xander in any way.
would a frying pan murder someone is your question.
Yeah.
Right?
just
And I think
physically.
the answer is maybe.
I just feel like it's
a dice
maybe.
roll.
Right. It's maybe. Yeah. It's a dice roll. Exactly.
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
It definitely can.
if Xander thinks that he is actually capable of murdering his bride,
Right.
like, then that is a major reason to not get married.
Yes.
And that means he really needs to work on some of his shit. But,
Yeah.
I mean, you're in Sunnydale. Magic is crazy. Like, I feel like if I saw a vision like that, I might be, like, a little suspicious of it, right? My ex is a vengeance demon. There's got to be a lot of people
But I
gunning
think
for
that
her.
the point of it though is that the reason
Yeah.
maybe he doesn't question it and the reason that he's even when he knows it's fake he still leaves is because there's something emotionally true about it. There's something that rings true about that or
Yeah.
speaks to a fear that he has.
Yeah, if he really didn't... That's what I'm saying. If he didn't think he was capable of that wouldn't have affected him so much.
Yeah. Apropos of nothing, changing the subject, the guy who plays old Xander is George D. Wallace, who, Dennis, I don't know if you know who he is, do you?
No.
But guess what he has in his list of credits is amazing.
Well, is it an episode of X-Files?
It's so much better. He is one of the rocket men in Radar Men from the Moon.
Oh, whoa. Wow.
Yeah.
He's
Isn't that awesome?
Commander Cody. Or
I don't
one
think
of
he's
them.
Commander Cody. I think he's one of his sidekicks or whatever. But
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah, isn't that great?
That is a nice little callback.
If you've never seen the 1930s or 40s or whatever it is serial,
Let's add that to the Rex.
yeah.
Radar Man from the Moon.
he's
Oh
also
no,
in Forbidden,
he is Commando Cody. Just to be clear, sorry, he is Commando Cody.
and
that's
he's in
important to get
Forbidden
right.
Planet. That's way more exciting.
Oh, he's in Forbidden Planet. Shit. Oh, damn. That's also awesome. I'd missed that. What is he in that?
He's the planet. I'm just kidding.
Oh, wait. Maybe I'm confused, guys. Sorry. He's got some relationship with that thing, but
Okay.
it might be just in that world of sci-fi, 50s sci-fi. I'll just cut that comment. It said stage next to his Wikipedia. I'm like, oh, so there's a staged version? Of course there's a staged version of a 50s sci-fi movie.
Oh, no, it shows on his Wikipedia page that he was a bosun in Forbidden Planet.
Oh, okay.
So
Bosun. Is he the guy who like gives the robot alcohol?
I don't think
That's a
so.
fun character.
That is a fun character.
So that's what a bosun
Let's just
does.
watch Forbidden Planet.
The bosun manages supplies.
Oh yeah, that would be the guy.
Huh.
So it might be him if that's what it.
Well, I'll recognize him only as Xander's future self. Hey, sex poodle. This is just a funny comment that Anya makes in her fictional vows that she keeps changing. And by the way, this is so stressful to me, the idea that you're going to just like on the fly do a vow. And also that you're like kind of just trying things out with your friends. Like, this is crazy. You got to have that stuff locked down and also not day of. Anyone involved, like that has got to be so stressful. Why would you do that to yourself? Come on. The essay is due weeks ago, not today. Don't get it done today. The sex poodle thing is really funny though. And the vulnerability of whatever that is, love it. It's a good giggle.
Xander has the opportunity to talk to Willow before running off, and he doesn't take it. And this is just one of those things where I'm like, they've been through so much, like they know so much crazy stuff. I mean, emotionally, I know why, but like logistically, why don't you tell Willow what just happened? You're like, I just had this crazy vision from an future me.
Yeah.
Can we talk about it for a minute? Just talk. That's all I'm saying, man.
So Tony, right? Let's just talk about Tony for a bit. So that's Xander's dad, who I think we're meeting for the first time. We've certainly heard him and his mom fighting, I guess, back when Xander lived at home. Gosh, the characterization of dad is just like this evil alcoholic who like just getting just trashed and like, but also so cruel and mean to people. Really just holding court and owning the entire wedding, the room. I mean, really just a bizarre character that like is just an angry, evil. I don't know. I'm just surprised at the characterization. It feels so over the top and intense. This person has no respect for anyone there or for even the wedding or the process, right? Just like it's all about how he thinks and his prejudices and frustration. Like,
Yeah.
what a.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess this is a honeymooner's character brought to, center stage. I mean, it makes sense in the storytelling to put it center stage because you're like, hey, this is what you become. But like, it's such a caricature, and Xander is such a more interesting character than this that like, it's kind of the fact that there isn't like a soul to this character, that Tony just feels so flat, I think really kills this episode. Because like, I think if they brought a little bit more to Tony, like a little more pathos or just something like, I just don't care about him at all. Like from moment one, there's nothing redeeming about him. He's like suspicious and hateful of the circus people immediately. Like there's a scene, for instance, where Rory, I think, and another relative are talking about like how everybody's into this cult, thing. And like they're having this conversation about, the traditional ways, right? Like there's this funny kind of like meta commentary about demonic religions, right? Like that would be kind of interesting to go to, but like Tony can never go there to those kinds of conversations because he's just incapable of even listening to anyone. I just want Tony to be a little bit deeper, a little bit more going on. Just like, so I care about Tony, but I don't care about Tony. He's cruel to his wife and cruel to everyone.
I don't know if you gotta care about every character, right? Like some characters are just heels, right?
Yeah, I think it's okay for some characters to be heels, but I think that just the portrayal of Xander's family is very one-dimensional. Like, there's literally nothing redeeming in any single one of them, as far as we can tell. And
The Harrises are the Harrises are very open-minded. They're Episcopalians.
It would be nice if there was at least some kind of dimension to them. I agree. But I mean, within the limits of this episode, if we're only going to see them in this episode, I mean, there's not time to do more.
I mean, just give Tony one moment alone with Xander to be like, hey, dude, I think this is great. I'm so proud of you. Like something like that. And then just to go be an alcoholic wreck.
Yeah. Go hit on his best friend since high school.
Yeah.
Why isn't Halfrick with the other bridesmaids? She's clearly in a bridesmaid's dress, but she's sitting down instead of going to help. What's going on? I don't know weddings that well. Is this an organizational disaster? Did Hallie not get the info?
Yeah, that's a good call. For that matter, why is Clem seated on the groom's side?
Because he's Xander's friend.
Yeah, well, that's the amazing backstory I want to hear. Right? Is like, because we know Clem because he's Spike's friend. So apparently,
I bet after that birthday party, they got along really well at that long birthday party, and then they hung out a couple times since then.
I really like that idea. I really like the idea of the Xander Clem hangout episode that we don't get.
But that's all over now that he knows Anya favors Clem.
That's true.
That friendship is done.
Ooh, that adds another spicy dimension to the fact that Anya cheats with Clem in this fake future.
Yeah, with his own demon friend.
I just love the scene with Dawn and the other teen demon just hanging out.
Yeah.
Just like shooting it, talking about how crappy everybody is. Like, that's awesome. I want to see more of Dawn and the teen demon. This seems like someone that actually gets her. I mean, like, can be cynical about family, which is what she needs.
That was great makeup, too.
Yeah.
Like, that was great monster makeup with that teen demon.
And the acting was so good. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. The nonchalance of him. Yeah, exactly. He seems like a don't care teenager.
Yeah. And like, we just so rarely get to see Dawn hanging out with somebody her own age.
Yeah. Age appropriate.
I also love the way that, like, when shit gets real, he immediately runs away.
He bounces so fast. Which is like a lesson nobody in the Buffyverse has ever learned.
So this wedding is a problem from the beginning, but man, if there's a fist fight at your wedding is over. Especially, say it again, a saloon brawl. Like, your wedding is over. And the fact that this wedding keeps going, like, it isn't immediately over after the first fight, is crazy.
Yeah, the fact that when that brawl expands to every single person, I'm like, are we in a Mel Brooks movie all of a sudden? Like, are we gonna like push through to the stage doors and start fighting the other CW shows? Like,
Dude, that would be a nice touch.
I just want to talk about the amazing variety of monsters that we get in this wedding. This wedding is it's the cantina bar of weddings, right? It's the but I do want to call out my favorite, which is this guy who's like, because there's always like, like, they definitely brought out some of the like past monster makeup pieces that they kind of like, did their for some of the background monsters. But my favorite is this dude who's just like a shitty Dracula. Like, he just has like a cape and like some beads or something, and then like the Dracula haircut, and he's just hanging out.
that widow's
kind of hard to describe over the radio, but it's really, really, really good. And then there's a couple that's just kind of gothy. That's a nice touch.
The several other vengeance demons that are poking throughout.
That's right. A few other vengeance demons.
None of them have quite the level of makeup as Hallie. Oh man, yeah, there are some really great looking background demons. Thank you, John, for bringing these to the program. I could get lost in those all day. This demon who tricks Xander, he turns out to be a former philanderer. He's a shapeshifter. So why did he choose to look like not old Xander? Why did he choose to be a character actor from the 50s? It could have been like, Xander in old man makeup.
I kind of bought it. I kind of felt like Xander could age into that weird face, and
no. I mean the thing is, they have a literal body double for Xander Harris that they could have put in old man makeup. Like, there's a literal body double out there.
Although I suppose it has to also pass muster that no one notices him, or no one knows who he is until he explains himself.
Yeah.
And that we don't know. It's also important that the audience doesn't figure it out. Because that's like, the enigma of the episode is who is this old man for like half of it.
And they like kill this guy in front of everybody, and everyone applauds.
Xander does some quality violence. He clubs that dude with a column in the head.
I don't think he's dead. Hey, so don't Anya and Xander live together? Haven't they experienced what it's like to be together and they kind of like it? Like, the idea that Xander would walk away and, like, yes, his family is a piece of shit. Like, you know, he would feel guilty probably just making Anya connected to that in any way. Like, the demon family is better than the human family, guys, if that's the real message here. But this is such a sad direction to take the show. No wonder you don't rewatch this season very much. This is like, this is such a sad arc that at the end, the wedding that we've kind of been building up to and like whatever Anya and Xander are going to be, that it's just like, cool. I don't really like the direction for the show. Like, I don't like this one. So I'm sad for what happens next, because now it's like Xander and Anya have to like detach and untangle, but like, this is sad.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's, and I don't think this is too much of a spoiler, that it's a general rule in any Joss Whedon show that no one can be happy for too long. Right?
Yeah.
You just gotta, oh no.
Also, I like the very end is also rough to me in a way they don't even they don't even mention of. So Willow and Buffy are her bridesmaids, and then at the end, they're being sad without Anya. Anya's not even included in their grief. Like, that's fucking shitty, man.
That's a good call, Dennis.
But didn't they say that she wanted to be alone, right? Didn't they? Then that what they said?
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think you guys like.
Yeah.
You make an effort. I don't know. You don't leave her vulnerable to Dahafren.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I feel like, this is more of a Xander episode than an Anya episode, which is something.
Yeah. Xander can go to his shitty, weird hotel where the guy who brings him into the room clearly wants something.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, when do you go to a motel and the guy leads you to the room? Never heard of that.
Well, in Hollywood, California.
He goes in, he shows in the room. He's like, there's not a lot to explain. And you're like, yeah, no shit. It's a hotel room. I don't need a manual. What? Do you think that's the same motel where Faith used to live?
Travis pointed out that that was a motel, and this is actually a hotel because
okay.
It had a hallway.
Oh, right. Good call. Okay.
But I don't know if the landlord maybe wanted something similar. All right. Do you guys want to do questions for the group?
Questions for the group.
All right. I threw this one to you guys earlier in the Slack because I wanted you to have a chance to think of it, because it's not fair to just spring this on some guys. But future you shows up. What does future you have to tell now you to get you to believe that it's future you? Like, what's the least? I think, like, what's the least they have to do? Like, how do they get inside your head?
I think the easiest thing to me would be to tell me all of like my secret body aches. I try not to complain about. Be like, your back hurts a lot more than you let on.
Take it easy, Dennis.
You don't like hot sauce as much as your public persona would lead people to believe.
Oh, then I'd definitely be like, get out of here.
All right, he's still maintaining this image that he's the ultimate hot sauce guy. All right, I'm just kidding.
Well, Dennis is definitely a hot sauce guy.
Hey. You like the sauce?
Oh my god.
This is a really lame answer, but I feel like it would be, just sign into my Google accounts and shit.
See, I thought about any kind of tech thing, but then it could be a hacker, right?
Yeah.
It could just be like somebody who's been webcamming me or some shit.
Yeah,
well, I mean, the good news for us is that most of our childhood was not in the digital domain. So, like, it's tough for them to figure out secrets from our childhood, right? Because there's no digital trail. So, I think for us, and I don't want to say any of the secrets on the podcast in case there's just a hacker out there. So you can't give out the code, right? I can't. I'm just saying. So I think it's something of pre-digital era secrets. I think that's probably where I would go.
So that's your answer, pre-digital secrets? So just secrets. just tell you a secret real quick, and then it's like, all right, whatever you want.
This is actually all a con on Michael's part to get us to reveal our password hints.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, please.
I've got a secret. I've been hiding under my skin.
No, ever since this is like, for me, this is that Bill and Ted moment in Excellent Adventure where like Bill and Ted's doubles show up and they're like, what number am I thinking of? 69,
69
dude.
dudes.
And I think like, as dumb as that is, if my future self was like, what number am I thinking of? And I'm like, 69. Like, I'm just in because that's such a dumb joke. I think that works for an entire generation. I think that would work for all of you, actually. I think if future you just says, what number am I thinking of? 69. It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
And then if you need another numeric joke follow-up, it's like, in a row, how, you know, like, and then you're like, and then you say 37. And then you say it in a row, and that's like, and then you're like, cool. All right, what do we need to do? And it's like, all right, the power plant.
Listen to Rufus. He's a good guy.
Well, you've
right.
successfully proven that you're a nerd of my generation, so that's good enough for me.
All right, what do we need to do to, sabotage the power plant? Let's get to it. Poison the water supply? Yeah, let's get into it. Future me. Follow-up question. So Buffy has this great moment where she entertains a wedding with juggling when she's got to stall for some reason, which we didn't talk about this, but this is kind of a delightfully weird moment.
Sarah Michelle Gellar can really juggle. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, you pointed that out, and like I would never even triggered me to think that juggling is a weird thing to know, but it is. You have to spend some time. That's a physical skill. Anyway, it's a thing. So if you have to entertain an audience at a wedding, 10 minutes, and it's just like, Dennis, John, Travis, whatever, it's like, just buy us some time. I need 10 mintes. What do you do? What's your entertaining an audience for 10 minutes skill?
Do I have a whiteboard and a Sharpie?
Yes, you have whiteboard and Sharpie.
You're going to draw on your whiteboard with Sharpie?
And then that's a wedding gift. I'll like take everybody's, and like, this is a reminder of our wedding and our time together. And I'll make like, you know, jokes while I'm drawing and stuff. Easy peasy.
That's good.
You could use a deception. Like you could take a fake Starbucks order. Like that takes forever for people to decide on what they want for like from Starbucks. Right. That's at least a 20.
That's right. So it's not, your goal isn't to entertain, just to delay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you know it takes forever, and then you know people aren't waiting around for the wedding at that point. They're waiting around for their Starbucks. But you don't have to come back for the Starbucks. I mean, it gives you an out. Like you can take a fake Starbucks order and never come back.
Dude, that's so good. What do you guys want from Starbucks? And it's like, oh,
That's good. As a teacher, my go-to is like busy work worksheets. So just like give everybody worksheets. Or
People really like that at a wedding.
as a camp counselor, there's camp songs to make waiting go a little faster. Lead everybody in a little bit of I am the music cantor. I come from Schwabenland. That's a good one.
well, I got 3 here, guys. Charades, all right. Spontaneous improv team comedy with me and the kids.
I thought
People
this
love
was
watching
supposed to be
kids doing
entertaining.
stuff, so I just pull the kids in to do a little improv. And then stand-up comedy, which is the most dangerous of the 3, of course. Spontaneous stand-up. But people laugh just thinking you're going to tell a joke, so like it's crazy, especially with relatives. So like I've done spontaneous stand-up for relatives that are like, Michael, you do stand-up, why don't you do some stand-up? And like they're gone and I have not even started. Just the premise of someone you know doing stand-up spontaneously, they're like, "Bah!" And like also they cut you off. They don't even let you finish your jokes. You don't even have to tell a joke. You just have to start telling a joke and someone will interrupt you. It's great.
So Buffy gets hit on by both Xander and his dad, which is Ew. And Willow makes suggestive flirts with both Tara and kind of Xander. So my question is, do weddings make people horny? This is a real question. I don't know the answer to.
Not me.
Yeah, they've never made me particularly horny.
I'm hesitant to defend Xander, but I do feel like Xander's little joke, the way it was delivered, didn't come off as gross to me personally. Like it was more of like a little nudge to his friend, like, "Hey, remember when I used to be a creep?"
Yeah, I agree because there was clearly no intent behind it.
Yeah. It's
But
similar.
I'm just adding up these things, and it's got to be super weird for Buffy to have been hit on by 2 members of the same family in the same day.
Yeah.
That's a rough day.
Yes.
No other answers for
I mean, I think answer is sort of like, yeah, sort of. I mean, it's like a celebration of hope, and it's an optimistic kind of celebration. We have so few of them. How often do you get people together for anything? I think like just being around people, the vibe's usually good, right? We're all kind of like, enjoying like this celebration of love, right? If it's a good match, you're like kind of excited for them. So you have some good feelings inside. If it's a bad match, you're like, ooh, you have some weird feelings inside. You got feelings, right? And there's not many times when you get to feel the feelings. So anything that brings out those kind of things. And then you add alcohol, and then it's like you actually get to talk about someone else's relationship with this easy prompt of like, oh, they're a good couple or a bad couple together. You're already thinking about relationships. So I think like, yeah, like horny, it makes you think about people, relationships, and like we're always 1 second away from thinking about sex. So, I mean, I think it just makes sex into a conversation. And then it depends on the vibe of the wedding, right? Like church weddings, I would say like probably there's -5 to any horny feelings. But, I've only been to a handful of church weddings. Most have been a non-traditional cool venues like the beach or some kind of broken down urban structure. I mean, just random, whatever people get married. So I'm going to say yes to the horniness.
All right. Travis, do you want to weigh in or should we move on? All right. And this is like just main characters got married. Why did Giles not show up?
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't, but like, surely he was invited to the wedding. It just feels like this should have been if they were really going to, maybe that was a clue that they weren't really going to get married. Because if they were really going to get married, Giles should have showed up. Right?
I feel like
didn't even notice. It's amazing.
If it were Buffy, he definitely would have shown up. If it were Willow, he probably would have. But the fact that it's Xander.
But it's Anya, his business partner.
Yeah.
How progressive of him. I mean, I think he's got, yeah.
What an asshole. Good point, dude. He was definitely invited to this wedding that he didn't show up for.
I think that's all the questions. Let's get deep.
Deep stuff.
Oh, okay. So I guess my deep stuff was, I think there's two things. One is like, the fear, this is very Gen Y millennial, the fear of repeating your parents' marriage mistakes. There's that. And also the fear of becoming like your father. This is a Xander episode more than an Anya episode because we don't know Anya's parents. So that's kind of also mixed in with that. And then, of course, you have like the ultimate male fear of like unbridled testosterone, right? And that's always in the back of, that's always sort of a general fear that you could have. And then, of course, you combine that with a horrible marriage or a mistake. So there's a lot of what I'd say legitimate type fears going on in this episode. So I can definitely respect the trauma that Xander goes through.
Thanks, Travis.
Yeah. I think it's the connected to the cliche that people say about not being able to love somebody else until you love yourself, right? Like Xander can't commit to this relationship because he doesn't think he's capable of it. It's a bummer.
Yeah, he hasn't really outgrown like the effects of his upbringing, right? Yeah, he's not ready to get married. I mean, plainly, this episode's really just about someone who is 21.
Yeah.
And is just not ready to get married. Yeah. Although that's the only thing that bugs me about the end of the episode. It's as much as they focus on this, this glimpse into the future, like bottom line is this guy was not ready to get married. And the episodes where he's chowing down on potato chips, like are just an obvious, like flashing red flag. It's like, no, do not get married. You are not ready for marriage at age 21. Especially with your emotional baggage.
It's weird to think probably by the second flashback, that's like around the year we're at now, right?
And there's like an element of pre-crime, but like they don't really delve into pre-crime. But that would have been a really way cool way to have gone with the episode.
Oh man, yeah. Tom Tom Cruise comes in, busts him for a murder that's going to happen in like 40 years.
Well, that would disperse the whole wedding, right? Like, time cop busts in and says that, like, I'm here to arrest a criminal for a crime they're about to commit, or like they'll commit in the year 2020. Like, all those demons be taken off, Also, everyone's suspicious now. And then just interrogate everyone, get them in the Terratron that sees their future and finds a crime they're going to commit, and then throws them in through a dimensional portal into like some demon jail, and just grab one human for that, and then a couple demons, and then Buffy can break up the machine or whatever.
Yeah, we're getting real deep in this episode.
I mean, but it's weird. It's also very one-sided, right? Because it's like Anya has zero fears of marriage, which is just kind of like a strange.
Rough
It's very
to see,
strange.
to know this is coming is to like see when she does have fears how Xander calms them, and like you're like Xander is acting like he like knows that this is the good decision, and he's clearly the one who backs out. Like it makes watching like the episodes right before this rougher, right? When Xander says he's afraid of the wedding but not afraid of the marriage to Anya in the last episode when he's talking about Nick and Nora Fury. Like that kind of makes that whole scene a lie.
Yeah, good call, Dennis. That's true. Because that was a really nice scene.
Yeah, it was. All right. Do you guys want to move on to recommendations, or do we want to keep getting deep?
I mean, I feel like there's something that we do want to say that we're not saying. I don't know, just about how pivotal and sad this is. It's just such a dark read for this universe. And I think what you were saying about women, like Anya just wants to get married. Like there's a cynical portrayal of women as people that just want to get married in this, that don't experience doubt. That's kind of sad. Like as a sad version, it feels like definitely a misogynistic universe where a male is ultimately deciding whether things are going to happen. And like, this is such a disaster for Xander to step in. Like, it really wrecks both houses when you do that. Like, this is people are supposed to come together. Like, it's kind of like you unfollowed everybody on Twitter. I mean, you deactivate your Facebook account. I mean, this is life-ending stuff to do. Like a relationship destroying. It sounds like the Buffy gang will still tolerate Xander after this, but like, this is such a destructive thing to do and stupid.
I mean,
but I guess
it's also someone needs to tell Xander that divorce exists. Like, if you get married and it sucks, like, it's not the end of the world. You don't have to stay until you murder her.
Till death do us part. That's the solution. All right, guys. I'm going to call it. I'm going to move into Rex.
Recommendations.
So my number one rec for this episode is the Todd Browning movie Freaks, because that movie is awesome and it's about circus folk, and everything that I feel like everything that this movie is, or that this episode is saying about circus folk is in Freaks. The hate that the outside world gets, and the fact that they are like the people you meet in the movie are like people with a rich tradition. I got the shirt on right now.
whoa.
This movie is freaking dope. I love it. And it really does a good job of like, it presents the freak show, and at first you're an outsider to it, but by the time like you get to the third act, you're in their world, and you feel the betrayal that they feel, and it's really good. And it's if you know the Ramones song and stuff, if you know "Gooble Gobble, we accept you, one of us," that's what this movie is, where that's from. So that's a huge rec. I'm also recommending Blazing Saddles because of that giant brawl. And I was like, you know what? Movies about weddings, there's a billion of them, but they're really not my forte. So it took me a while to pick like a real wedding movie. So I picked Ready or Not, the 2019 horror movie about a woman played by Samara, what's her name? Weaving or something. She gets married to this board game billionaires. This and then has to survive a night as they play a murder game on her. And the movie was really good. Super enjoyed it. We're also going to recommend Radar Men from the Moon because Old Man Harris starred as Commando Cody. This is an old Republic movie serial, used to play in the theaters back before the feature. Super enjoyable. If you ever want to entertain kids for a half hour every Saturday for a couple years, play them some old serials. All right. Do we want to do where do we go from here now and then predictions?
Where do we go from here?
All right, so my where do we go from here concept is it's called highbrow, lowbrow. So every week we would watch or do something highbrow and something lowbrow and talk about it. Like, for instance, watch a Criterion film and then eat a Mexican pizza at Taco Bell. And then we make fun of each other for our poor taste and for what we think good taste is. And it wouldn't have to be a never-ending commitment. We just do it till quarantine ends.
I really like this idea. I like the idea of doing the highbrow thing simultaneously with the lowbrow thing. Like we're gonna listen to opera while we eat pork cracklings.
All right, well, you're combining it like they can be combined totally. Like that's
Same time, yeah.
Or just review a highbrow thing and review a lowbrow
Are
thing.
pork cracklings the same thing as pork rinds?
I think so. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't eat either one. I have no idea.
I get chicharrones from the Mexican markets. They're really good.
Yeah, that's more of a pork rind.
Yeah.
Cracklins might be pork fat that's fried, but either way, it's very close.
See, look, I'm already very engaged. I'm like, I want to talk about these pork rinds.
It's easy to do.
It's like, Dennis, you can't keep eating pork rinds as your lowbrow thing. It's like, that's supposed to change. You're like, oh, no, these are a different brand of pork rinds. You don't understand.
I'm going through the whole catalog, man.
I mean, there's an idea for a podcast right there. Pork rind review show.
Okay, well, I'm opposed to pork rind review show. I mean, I think I don't think there's much. I don't think you can make a whole show out of pork rinds. I can't even get access to. I guess the internet.
Oh, dude, you could definitely make a show.
You don't think you can get pork rinds?
Yeah, you can, Mike. You buy them at the store.
No, I feel like I would run out. Like if you just said chips, right? That's a whole aisle. I could do that for years. Pork rinds, it feels like there's just only a couple, maybe one bag per store. They don't really carry them.
I must be living in like a high pork rind concentration city.
Well, I think the Mexican grocery store or the Latino that they definitely
okay.
like.
Okay, but to get back to your actual idea, hit me with another highbrow lowbrow combo.
Sure. Well, okay. I mean, I think maybe understanding the why of it. I feel like the way we attack Buffy, for instance, right? We are definitely, it's like a lowbrow entertainment, right? Or is it? And we treat it like it's a highbrow entertainment, and that bothers people. Like, you're reading too deep into this thing. Like, dude, I choose how I want to review the text. Okay, that's my thing. So I think like we already are naturally going to attack things in a certain way. So it's like we could choose one thing and we have a highbrow, lowbrow, connection to it. And I think we're always running into that. Like Dennis, is love with monsters and like we all love comics, right? But like you kind of live in that highbrow, lowbrow sensibility where you're like, I just like the art and I like the way this looks or makes me feel. But you can still put words onto that. And okay, so what's another combo? So for instance, I'm trying to watch the Criterion films in spine order, which is crazy. So Seven Samurai, that felt kind of like a highbrow experience to me because it was hard to get through. I still really enjoyed it, but like it was a struggle to get through that. And then it's awesome, right? Fucking Seven Samurai. And then like I still love my lowbrow bullshit. I'm also reading this comic called My Balls, which is just totally lowbrow, probably the worst comic. But it is amazing. I would love to talk about My Balls. This comic is about...
We have that on tape now.
Yeah, well, the comic, that's like what it translates as. I'm just going to tell you the premise of this because you'll be like, oh my God, this anime. They're manga, right? So it's a demon spirit that's going to destroy humanity, gets trapped in a virgin high school student's balls, and if he ejaculates, it gets out. So he can't ejaculate. And it's just like, and as soon as that premise happens, you're like, oh, high school got weirdly hard for this guy? It's just like... Then it's all these demons that are trying to seduce him and all these other problems. And you're like, and then the girl that wouldn't talk to him now wants to talk to him because of the weird energy he's giving off. And you're just like, this is anime. This is fucking amazing. But it's too lowbrow to talk about. I mean, it's dementedly lowbrow.
How many issues are there of this manga?
It came out 2011. I think it just ran for 2.5 years or something like that. So only 150 issues. I don't know when it ended. It hasn't ended yet. I keep, they finished with the central problem, and now there's other problems that have been created, so.
I'm reading some lowbrow stuff right now. When Yoder was over, he dropped off, 6 issues of this book series called, I Was a Redneck White Trash Zombie or something. So I'm, reading this. And the thing is, Yoder really pushes me to if he thinks I'm going to enjoy something, he doesn't let it go until I start reading it. So now I'm reading it. But it's too lowbrow to talk about because it's so dumb and it's very trashy and it's so yeah, I would talk about that in an episode of Lowbrow.
Oh, so maybe it sounds like we just want to talk about our lowbrow stuff. Forget the highbrow. We can make a highbrow out of lowbrow.
Well, I like the idea though that the idea of pairing it with a highbrow activity. So you're going to read My Balls and have some truffle oil on your pasta.
No, I think drop the pairing. I think just an excuse to explore lowbrow stuff is the best. And if there's a variety of it, and then we only go as deep as we want to into the lowbrow thing. How many YouTube channels you're just I don't know, this is kind of weird. You can do whatever kind of subjects, I think, in it.
Yeah.
And the entertainment value is based on kind of being a little bit trashy, which guys, I think part of the entertainment value in Buffy is it's a little bit trashy.
Hot take.
Wow.
We'll see what the audience thinks of that.
What a virgin take, right? Come back to me when you're not a Buffy virgin. I'm just kidding.
You've only seen over 100 episodes of it.
Yeah. But that 149th episode changes everything.
You're finally going to get it, dude.
I'm gonna understand.
All right. Speaking of finally going to get it, let's do predictions.
Virgin predictions.
Okay. This is a highly prediction-heavy episode. We have a lot of predictions that are addressed here because I feel like this is something we've been building up to, so there's a lot of predictions to talk about. It made me go through and expand our spreadsheet a bit to figure out what was the episode that had the most predictions addressed in it, if that makes any sense. Which randomly is, I believe, let me double check this, season 5, episode 22. That's not random at all. It's the end of season 5. The Gift is the episode that addressed the most predictions, in that it addressed 21 separate predictions. But I also was able to calculate, this is really fun for everyone, I'm sure. I was able to calculate what is the most predictable episode of Buffy, which I thought was kind of an interesting statistic, meaning where your ratio of correct predictions to incorrect predictions was the highest. So the most predictable episode of Buffy turns out to be season 6, episode 1.
Oh,
because I think Michael
sense.
knew that Buffy was coming back and so on. So it kind of makes sense. But if you look at, I believe it's sheet 5 in the spreadsheet, you can kind of see some statistics on how predictable each individual episode of Buffy has turned out to be. Moving on, Michael, your current accuracy overall is a 64.16%, and your accuracy for season 6 is a 74.07, less than 1 percentage point behind your best ever prediction season, which was season 2. So it may be that we have a lot to address here, that you knock this up and season 6 may become your most successful season yet. So we'll see. Okay, so way back, season 2, episode 16, Michael predicts that people will remember being in love with Xander. Of course, Willow recalls her crush on Xander from the past. Does anyone else?
I guess that's not people. But
it's still just person. In our last episode, we had the same distinction be made. People have not remembered being in love with Xander. Only person. Only Willow. So, moving on. Season 2, episode 22, Michael predicts Xander is not going to become a bad guy for more than one episode. So, I only bring this up because arguably Xander is now a bad guy. I think what he does in this episode is pretty shitty.
Yeah, and we already kind of called him the bad guy in Once More with Feelings. So this is 2 episodes where he's the bad guy. Xander is not going to become the bad guy for more than 1 episode.
I take this as more than 1 episode in a row.
Yeah.
That's not in the text.
Yeah, I hear
That's
what
true.
you're saying, Dennis. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
But for
I don't-
more than 1 episode means for a duration of more than 1 episode.
What do you think, Travis?
I don't think he's really a bad guy, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he's a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy. Like, he's not a villain, but he's being a bad human.
Isn't he the villain to Anya in this? If we take Anya's point of view.
Yeah,
He proposed.
true.
He told her it was a good idea. He continually kept telling her that the marriage is going to be good and shit. He led her on this wild goose chase.
I feel like it's dodgy to try to deny this one on the grounds that he's been a bad guy in this one and in the musical episode. I think we have to leave this one open. But zooming ahead a bit, season 4, episode 3, Michael predicted that Xander and Anya will have a horrible breakup that will have a horrible consequence beyond the 2 of them. So I think we need to. This is one where I'm just sort of bringing the prediction up, not to confirm or deny it, but just keep an eye on this one. They've definitely seemed to have had a horrible breakup. Whether or not it has horrible consequences beyond the 2 of them, I think kind of remains to be seen, but it certainly seems that way. That may happen with our coda there with D'Hoffryn. Season 4, episode 9. Okay, D'Hoffryn will return in a future plot twist. I think that one is easily confirmed. What do you guys say?
Yes.
Okay.
Future plot twist. Holy shit, that one just that easy to interpret.
Yeah.
Okie
Insert
dokie.
plot twist.
Season 4, episode 9, Michael predicted that Anya is going to get D'Hoffryn's calling card token from Willow.
I don't
That
think that happened.
seems to not have happened.
I think it didn't need to happen. It was
It didn't need to happen. Yeah. So do you want to go ahead and deny this now?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So the calling card token being this thing that you need to summon D'Hoffryn, correct? And it turns out that Anya doesn't need that because D'Hoffryn calls you. So that one is
Loves all those
denied.
demons.
Okay. Season 5, episode 7, Michael predicted no more reindeer games. I bring this up only because if there were an episode for the Chaos Demon to reappear, this would have been a great one, and he didn't. I mean, he could still, so this one stays open, but I just wanted to bring that one up.
I wondered why that was up. Partially because
Okay.
I keep forgetting what no more reindeer games means.
No more reindeer games refers implicitly to the Chaos Demon who has reindeer horns covered in slime, of course. Although, I mean, because we are textualists when it comes to interpreting these predictions. So it is possible that there might be other kinds of reindeer games that may occur in the future that would cause that to be confirmed or denied. So we'll see. Okay, season 5, episode 21, Michael predicted that Faith will not be invited to Xander and Anya's wedding. Now,
That's true.
we don't know if she was invited. She may not have been able to go. I'm kidding. We're going to confirm that one.
God damn it.
Show me the guest list.
John has had the guest list on several different occasions, and Faith's name had
Well,
not
there was
shown up
there was a seating
chart.
plan. There wasn't.
But
there wasn't really
a seating
guest
chart
list.
is also a guest list.
I suppose so. Okay.
It's not a complete guest.
Season 6, episode 2, Michael predicts that Anya and Xander aren't going to get married. That is confirmed.
Sure. Also,
That was season 2. That was a season 2 prediction.
No, that was
Season
season 6.
6.
Season
Okay.
6, episode 2. Yeah,
That
it
would be an
really
amazing
weird.
season 2 prediction.
Yeah, if he predicted that in season 2, when we would have been like, "Who's Anya?"
I was like, wait, what?
Okay. Season 6, episode 10, Michael predicts Xander and Anya's wedding happens in season 6. So the wedding does not actually happen, right? So we have to deny this one, right? Okay.
The wedding episode happened.
The wedding episode happens, but the wedding doesn't happen. Okay. So, all right.
Wait, you're denying this?
Because the wedding doesn't happen. They don't get married.
There is
It's
a
not
wedding. Oh,
There is a wedding, but there's
wedding?
not.
All right,
wedding?
this is how do we define wedding? Is the wedding the event?
Yeah.
Because it's not leading.
Okay.
Like,
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah.
it's not the marriage will happen. It's the wedding will happen, right?
Okay. I'll accept that. We'll confirm that one. Very well. Very well.
Jeez,
I
no,
thought
you
for
just
sure
you
we
were
were going to
rushing
deny
through
that.
it. Oh,
I thought
he just
to me it
rushing
seemed
through
cut.
it.
To me, it seemed cut and dry that if no one gets married, there's no wedding. But I guess that's a minority opinion. I don't know. Okay. Season 6, episode 11, Michael predicts Spike and Buffy are going as dates to Xander and Anya's wedding. Well, that one's definitely denied.
That's for sure.
Okay. Season 6, episode 11, Michael predicts that we will meet Uncle Rory at Xander and Anya's wedding. Well done, sir. That's an impressive confirmation there. Here's a super prediction from season 6, episode 11. Someone will come forward during Anya's wedding during the speak now or forever hold your peace moment. That does not, it spiritually occurs, but it does not literally happen. So I think that super prediction is denied. Okay. Halfrek, aka Hallie, will have a toast at the wedding. She doesn't seem to have a toast at the wedding. She's there. Xander's dad has a toast that he sort of appoints himself to do, but Hallie doesn't seem to have a toast. So
I bet if they made it to the reception, there would have been a toast.
Okay. Season 6, episode 12. Michael makes a super prediction that the Double Meat Palace does not cater Anya and Xander's wedding. That, I suppose, is confirmed, and it's a super prediction. Well done, Michael. Season 6, episode 14. Michael predicts that Halfrek is still invited to the wedding. She clearly was. She's there. No problem. So that's confirmed. And finally, season 6, episode 15, just our last episode, Michael predicted that at least one human and one demon develop a relationship at Anya and Xander's wedding. I'm inclined to confirm this one. Because Xander has a cousin who ends up dating the demon gentleman. They don't necessarily end up together, but it's implied, right?
There's a lot of energy.
Yeah, I'm going to confirm that one.
Crow.
I would even say, like, we don't know what's happening with Don and little demon boy.
Oh, good call. That's a good call. Yeah, so, yeah, between the two of those, definitely the confirmation there. So, what that buys us here is 12 predictions addressed overall. So, not quite our most prediction addressing episode, but I believe it comes in third place as the third most predictions addressed in a single episode. Michael had 8 predictions confirmed and 4 denied.
But one's a super.
And one is a super, absolutely. Thus, Michael's scores actually end up going down because that's lower than his average to this point. Therefore, his overall accuracy is a 63.97 at this point, and his accuracy for season 6 is a 72.73.
All right, more predictions incoming. Can't help myself. Anya resumes her vengeance demoning in season 6. Let me spell demoning instead of demeaning. Thank you, Google. So clearly set up, she's going to resume her vengeance demoning. I want to see what that looks like. No more marriages in season 6 of Buffy. We're tired of them. I'm exhausted by this one wedding I fake attended. Anya and Halfrek team up in season 6. That's right. Vengeance demons working together. Do I need to go into more detail about what that team up looks like?
No.
Anya and Xander don't get back together in season 6. That's not where this goes. I'm concerned, though, about this prediction because I could see magic being used to bring them back together for one episode and then not working. But I'm going to say Anya and Xander don't reunite.
How about don't for real?
Don't for real reunite in season 6. Okay, cool. Everybody knows what that means. That's super logical, easy to interpret. Super prediction, Xander's going to be seriously injured. You know why? Because we have to feel like right now everyone hates Xander. The only way Xander's getting back is if he does some serious self-sacrifice, and we need a Cordelia season 2 level injury. All right? Was it season 2 where she like fell and got impaled? Yeah, we need something like that for Xander.
Okay, very good.
Will these come true? There's only one way to know. Keep watching Buffy. And Buffy Virgin.
Never stop.
Never stop. Watch it for years. All right. I think that's it, guys. I've been your host, Dennis St. John. I'm at Dennis Comics, DenisComix. That is Twitter, Instagram.com. I have a Patreon, Dennis St. John, DENISSTJOHN, where I'm posting monster comics, and I'm working on a new graphic novel as of last week, which is crazy. So by the time this airs, there'll be more info on that and where I'm on in that process. And I want to thank you, one and all, for listening and talking to us at Buffy Virgin. Don't forget to rate us and review us and subscribe. And you can watch us on our YouTube or wherever you watch podcasts or listen to them. Our Twitter is @BuffyVirginPod and Instagram is BuffyVirgin. You can check us out at BuffyVirgin.com. Reach out. We love to hear from you. We'll see you in hell.